Hey everyone, we are back once again for another Tuesday edition of the Preslate Show. My name is Jason O over at Paydirt DFS, and we're going to take a look at the models today and just see really where we should be going to build our lineups. For Tuesday's main slate, we got a big slate of games, 11 games to go through. So first and foremost, we're going to start with pitching as always. So looking at pitching right now, as you can see, there's a bevy of options that you can really pick from today. So I have it sorted by median right now, so you can see that Hunter Brown has the highest median projection on today's slate. He is also the most expensive. That's not a surprise there against the Athletics, and the Athletics have been, like pedestrian at best, to say the least. So that projection makes sense. You get Carlos Rodon at 10.5, which I feel is a little expensive for somebody like him, but he does get the Angels. I think there's a little bit more risk there than people want to give it credit for, and I'll go into that in a little bit. Followed by Nathan Eovaldi, Tylor McGill, or as I like to call Silor McGill, because the guy just fans everybody. If he goes more than 5 innings one time, he's going to absolutely just nuke and break a slate. And then you get to Joe Ryan, and then it's a decent drop off to Max Meyer, Stephen Kolek, Jonathan Cannon. So right away, what I'm seeing here is that there's not a ton of value guys that are populating up here naturally, right? So what I want to do is I want to see if there's anybody else that I could maybe get to. So let me go sort by 2x percentage here. So when I sort by 2x percentage, we got Bowden Francis. I don't know how you pronounce it. He's so trash, you don't even have to worry about how you pronounce his name. It's okay. But we have him as the most valuable pitcher on the slate at that current salary. 5,700 is cheap, even for somebody like him. As much as I know he's bad and he's probably gonna. I don't think he's gonna get shelled, but he's probably gonna get you like 8 to 10 points if you play him. Texas has not been great as of late, so I understand why. And he's also getting cheap enough to a point where maybe you have to slightly consider him. So I personally will not be going that route today. I'm actually only playing 5 lineups today, all smaller fields. I got out of work a little bit late and the contest really dried up on me, so that is what it is. But Bowden Francis is not going to be in consideration for me. Then you got Daniel Lynch. If I was confident in his pitch count today, and they're saying he may go a little bit longer, this guy hasn't really pitched more than. I mean, he's got up to 2 innings once in April. The rest have been more spot bullpen starts. He has gotten up to 40 pitches. So against San Francisco last week, he did throw 40. You're just banking on extreme efficiency here. Cincinnati has not been good against left-handed pitching whatsoever. One of the worst actually in baseball, and they've been striking out at a pretty good clip. I just don't think you need to go there today. I really don't. Then we have Dick Fitz. Love that guy. Seems like he's back off the IL. But yeah, in his rehab start, he only threw 33 pitches. So I don't think you expect a big workload tonight. But if he was going to get a workload, he could maybe be in consideration because Milwaukee has also not been great. And then you get to Silor McGill. And this is going to be a cornerstone of my lineup building tonight. And honestly, I don't even care about the ownership. He's just too cheap. 8,800 for a guy with the strikeout rates that he has. It's kind of a no-brainer. And also, let me show you guys this. So this is one of the free resources I like to use all the time. It's called Fangraphs. For people that don't know, you can go to Fangraphs and you can look at the pitcher splits against each hand, which batters are good against certain handedness. Their stats. You can run almost anything you want here. This is this is versus right-handed pitching this year. Tylor McGill has the lowest xFIP on the entire slate, which is really, really impressive. You like to see that. 36% K percentage, second only to Joe Ryan on the slate. On top of that, when you look at him versus lefties here, against lefties, 410 xFIP. So supposed to regress a little bit, but striking out at a major clip. Overall, pretty good. And he gets a very, very bad lineup today in Chicago. So to see Chicago too over the last 2 weeks here, let's see how they rank. So the last 2 weeks, Chicago has just been just outside the top 20. A 90 WRC plus, weighted runs created plus, not great. Not striking out a ton, so that's always good for them. On base percentage, very low. Slugging low. little bit more pop than you'd expect, like 145 ISO, not great, but for their standards, it's a little surprising. So I think this is a really, really good matchup today for Tyler McGill, one he could definitely take advantage of. And the other thing, too, that I will say, because he has had some walk issues in the past, the Chicago White Sox are one of the lowest walk teams in baseball. So he's going to get his opportunity for a lot of swing and misses today. Same thing if he's playing a team like the Brewers, like somebody who just doesn't really walk a lot. That's when you want to be on Tyler McGill. So I'm very, very interested in him today. After that, you get to Mitchell Parker. So Mitchell Parker, I actually don't mind. And I know this might sound a little disgusting. He gets Seattle, big pitchers park, a place that it's very cavernous, offense kind of goes there to die. And over the last few weeks, Seattle has actually been pretty good. So I'll show you guys here. They've been pretty good against left-handed pitching. Ninth in the league, 118 WRC plus, but no power, a 115 ISO. That's really, really bad. Slugging 380.385. That's below average. On-base percentage is pretty impressive here, but look how much they're striking out. 25, almost 26% of the time they are striking out against left-handed pitching. And a guy like Mitchell Parker, I kind of think that's worth the dice roll if you really, really needed to punt. So if I'm punting anywhere today, it's probably with him. People are going to want to play Taj Bradley, and you could play him if you want to. 7K is too cheap for the talent level. But really, if I'm spending down at all today, it's going to be for Mitchell Parker. But I think most of your lineups are going to want to start with Tyler McGill, and then either one of Nathan Eovaldi, Hunter Brown. If you want to play Rodon, you can. I don't know if I'm going to go there. We'll take a look. Joe Ryan, or yeah, that's probably it. And the one that I'll shout out here that I think is in a better spot than maybe our projections indicate is Corbin Burns. At that ownership, 14%, I think that's okay for today's slate, 9,300. He has shown a decent amount of upside. Outside of O'Neal Cruz, that offense is just very anemic too. So it's kind of that, spot where if you avoid him, maybe you can get by. So my pitching pool for today, Hunter Brown, Carlos Rodon, Eovaldi, Tyler McGill. And then if I really, really had to punt, I'll go Mitchell Parker or Taj Bradley. Taj Bradley is another one that, actually this could be a really good case study. Let me go take a look at him really quick. So I'm going to go look at first true average sheet here in our research sheets. These are free to view over at Paydirt DFS. So come check us out if it's for this. So let's go look at him really quick. True average standpoint. So true average is giving it up to lefties, righties, not great, but not terrible either. When we go look at him with his hit ratios here, giving up hits to both sides of the plate. So getting some really good contact on him. When I look at this from a current slate overview, this is where you can look at their K rates, walk rates, the slugging, their expected home run rates. Okay, so not striking out a lot of people, sub 20% K rate, 11% walk rate. True average is 0.28. Slugging is 0.37. Expected batting average is supposed to come down. Should have been giving up more home runs in this sample. I think I could avoid him today. Looks like we got some questions. So Cade Horton, let's go take a look at him really, really quick. So Cade Horton, Chicago against Colorado. So yeah, you could play him if you want to. I think he's fine. I just $8,000 for him, and our projection. What do we have on him, Cade Horton? We have him less than a 2x projection here. I get it's the Rockies, and I get they absolutely suck. And if you want to go there, you can. I think you're going to see, I can't play that ownership at 27%. I can't really do that. I mean, we can go take a look in Fangraphs and also just see how he's been. Just in, I know he's only had a couple starts, but let's go take a look at him. First, we'll take a look at him versus lefties here. So where is he? So Cade Horton. So XFIP, right about what he should be giving to lefties. Not a gigantic sample size, only 29 batters, but that's okay. Left on base rate, 81%. little high probably. So see with the whip, you know, it's got one of the higher whips like on the slate today. So I don't really love to see that. From a batted ball perspective, Cade Horton, high ground ball rate, 50%. That's pretty good, but also a fly ball rate. Again, not a big sample size. When I look at him versus right-handed hitters, Cade Horton, a FIP of 6.59 and an XFIP of 5.25. That's not good. Like I get he has to regress a little bit, but that's really, really not good. Let me see what else here too. Not K per nine, hasn't had, that much high upside. Walks are okay, not really any strikeout upside. When you make a play like Cade Horton today, what you're doing is you're essentially saying that I'm going to play against a really, really horrible team. And you got to hope he just avoids damage. Like, I just don't see any real upside. And, I don't know if people want to go there, they can. I'm probably not going to do it. You can't fit the bats with double pay up, my friend. Yeah, it's tough today. You're going to have to make some tough decisions. But also, no offense is really sticking out that much either. So if you want to, pay down at one of these pitchers, you definitely can. But these offenses don't look really that far apart from each other either. So, and when we get to bats, we'll take a look at more of point per dollar, how they rank out. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. You could do it. It's just, I just can't get there in my handful of lineups. Yep, people using dudes like Horton and tell you about Kolek. Okay, so looking at Kolek here, 8,400 median of a little under 16, so not a great value. Let's go take a look at him on Fangraphs. So Stephen Kolek, first we'll look at him here. XFIP should be a lot lower to left-handed hitters. It's been pretty high. He's going to regress pretty positively here. He should be seeing that soon. K rate of 23%. I like that. That's pretty solid, especially, what does he have today? The Marlins, Kolek? Yeah, he's got the Marlins today in San Diego, which is a big pitcher's park. When I look at him versus righties too, Stephen Kolek, yeah, XFIP's supposed to come up a little bit, but that's fine. Not a high strikeout rate. And then also when you look at who he's played, he had a really good start at Pittsburgh. He had a really good start in Coors Field at Colorado, where he almost put up a 40 burger. Then he had a bad start against Seattle, and Seattle was, pretty much ripping at the time. And then he had he didn't have a great start. He's the same salary against Toronto, and they're a team that doesn't strike out much. So when you get a guy like Stephen Kolek, who is also going against Miami, let's take a look how they've been the last 14 days. Miami's actually been pretty good. Miami's actually been pretty solid. 116 WRC plus. They've only been striking out 19% of the time, slugging 460. It's pretty impressive. High ISO here too, 0.188. That's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. I think Kolek is fine too. I mean, if you want to gun to my head, it's like Kolek is the guy who is showing you upside in a good matchup already, but it's hard to deny that this guy on Chicago, Cade Horton, has the better spot for sure. So if you want to do that, you can. It's an unproven commodity. Seems a little shaky. Yeah, I just don't really love him. I don't really love him. And the other reason why I don't love him is when you look at this too. Cade Horton, true average, very high to righties, decent to lefties. So yeah, I think he's riskier than everybody's letting on. Rocky T totals in the twos and the Cubs money line is 325. Horton kind of has to be in your pool. Okay. So at 8,000, what are you playing? What are you hoping he gets at 8,000 then? If you're playing somebody at 8,000, you kind of need him to get close to 20 plus points for him to really be this huge, gigantic difference maker. And then you probably need some people to fail when, I could spend 1,000 less for Taj Bradley. You could play Kolek. I don't know. I don't love Horton. And knowing how building is going to go later, he's probably going to end up making one of my 5 just because I'm going to need the salary relief somewhere. But I personally just think there's more risk there than people give it credit for. So that's all. And yeah, I totally agree, Eric. The weather is the biggest thing there. That also helps him out. Again, I'm not saying he's a bad play and you should avoid him. I just think there's a little bit more risk there, than people really think. You said it's Tampa times 911. Yep. Wins in, per Roth, wins in from left roughly at 10 miles per hour. Bad home run hitting weather. Yeah, I mean, look, he's fine if you want to go there. I just think he carries a lot more risk. That's all. So looking at offenses now. So I'm just going to give this one more quick rerun just to see if James has any changes. So sorted by 8+ runs here. You see at the top, we have Boston against Aaron Seaval. I know Seaval just came back off the IL, probably he had a start, I think. Yeah, he had a start against Pittsburgh. Didn't really go great. Didn't really K that many people. I know he gave up a home run and gave up some earned runs. Yeah, I did. I like Corbin Burns a little bit more than our projections indicate. I don't think he's, I really trust the projections more than anything. I just think this matchup is really good. He has shown his ceiling, at 9,300. He's the same price he was against the Dodgers, and now he gets Pittsburgh at home. I kind of like Corbin Burns more than our projections would indicate. But looking at here too, you see Boston, 26% chance to score 8 runs or more, moderate ownership. It's 11 gamer, so it's on the higher end, but they seem to be appropriately owned given their leverage. Then followed by Arizona, who's going up against Mike Burrows, and that Pittsburgh bullpen just not great. You got the Cubs, obviously, against German Marquez. If I have to tell you the Cubs are a great play against German Marquez and the Rockies bullpen, they're a great play. Weather is, do what you want with it, 10 miles per hour. And Wrigley, that's where I probably start considering what I want to do with it. It's really just their price tag more than anything. And then you have the Yankees against Tyler Anderson, and I love that park for offense. Minnesota against Taj Bradley, so that's maybe a feast or famine spot there. And San Diego against Max Meyer in that ballpark. I got to tell you, the offenses today to me this is a tough offensive slate. I don't think that there's anything really to love that you're like, wow, okay, the leverage is screaming at me. Like, I know for Chicago, they're the highest leverage team. They're also the most expensive, and the weather there is not fantastic. And there's some cheap pitching options that I just don't think are that reliable. So you have the Padres against Max Meyer. I don't like offenses in that park, really. Milwaukee against Richard Fitz. I think that's okay if you want to go there. Richard Fitz is probably going to be, a few innings and then he's out. And Boston's bullpen, let me see how they've been as of late. Go to our bullpen tab here. Yeah. They're kind of towards the back end a little bit, so they've been a little bit better. I think they're fine. I think Milwaukee's fine. If you're asking me what offenses that I'd really want to play tonight, that I really want exposure to, obviously Houston, we knew that was going to be incredibly owned. Arizona today, I really, really like Arizona. I have a pretty strong feeling about them, especially against Mike Burrows and that bullpen behind him. And I do like the Yankees. They are expensive. I had to give you one more that maybe the sheets don't love. Honestly, it's probably the Angels, and I hate to say that. Just they've been crushing left-handed pitching lately, and Rodon has been very, very good. So this is a large field only play, but I think this is a spot where if he hangs one of those curveballs once or twice, it could be bad. But yeah, this is a really, really tough offensive slate. For small field, I think you're probably starting with some combination of Houston, Arizona, Houston Yankees, Houston. You want to play the Mets, you can. I personally am not that high on them today. Houston, Boston. I think Houston is a pretty interesting play in small field, even though they're at a very high ownership. But you could probably find ways to leverage them. But that's probably what I'm going to be doing. Going and taking a look at our matchup masters table here. Yep, Chicago Cubs, no surprise there. Best matchup of the entire day, regardless of slate. All of these are just super elite numbers. So if you want to play that game where you go dumpster dive one of the pitchers and you play the Cubs, our matchup sheets love them here. So, you know, not that bad at all. Houston here too. So that means second best matchup here. The trending is decent. The trending score is not great, but trending for A plus is okay. Followed by the Yankees. St. Louis not on the slate. It's Seattle against Washington. They are in that park. They have hit some home runs there, and Washington's bullpen is terrible, but I also think Parker's okay too. And then you have Boston, the Padres, and the Marlins. So this is a very, very tough offensive slate. It's very, very tough. How sneaky is Texas and San Diego? Let's go take a look. So when I look at San Diego here against Max Meyer, yeah, for large field, you could definitely play them. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Small field, when you play in small field, you typically want to find offenses that even if you make a pivot, you feel a little less, I don't know, terrible about, right? Like you don't want to throw up all over your computer screen. And I like San Diego as a team. They haven't been that great offensively as of late. I don't know. I mean, you could definitely play them today. They're not going to be high owned whatsoever. And when we go look at Texas, Texas surprisingly is not getting much ownership against Bowden Francis. 37% for this slate's okay, but we have them as a pretty bad leverage team at this salary. So, and at that ownership. So I don't know. I'm probably not going to get to Texas today. I do like some minis though. Like if you wanted to take a mini with Josh Smith, and you wanted to take a who's the other lefty that they have? Yeah, you want to take Josh Smith. You want to take Haggerty's. Well, Haggerty's not in the lineup either. You can play Jonah Heim too. I mean, I'm fine with Texas. I just can't see them, breaking the slate today against Toronto. And our matchup sheets agree too. Red Sox bats. Yeah, I think Red Sox bats are fine today. Just to go look at this guy Seaval, who is a good pitcher in his own right. Like I kind of respect his pedigree more than other people. His true average is very, very high to lefties. True average to righties is kind of middling. When we look at his weighted hit ratio splits here. Let me see. I'll just sort it by that. Fuck it. Yeah, he's given up contact to both sides of the plate. We go look at our current slate overview, and yeah, not Kane. A lot of people. Granted, it's a small sample size. 10% walk rate, not good. True average 0.3, not good. Slugging, not good. Home should have given up a little bit more power. Nothing really terrible. But let's go look at him a step further. So this is now all of the pitchers sorted by left-handed hitters. So his true average is the highest on the slate. No K rate really to even consider. Walk rate 10. Expected slugging highest on the slate. Expected home runs. He should have had 4 expected home runs. His expected home run for plate appearance, 36% of the time he should be giving up home runs to lefties. So when you're telling me Boston's going to run out of lineup with, Rafael Devers, Jared Duran, Wyatt Abreu, even guy like Mayer, like at 3,200 is a lefty who's cheap, and he's had some hits the last few days. Abraham Toro has had a few home runs in his last few games, and he's actually been kind of raking. I like Boston quite a bit for that reason. I also don't mind that park either, right? They're expensive up top, but once you get past the Devers, Duran, everybody's pretty affordable. They only have three guys above 4K. So I think Boston is absolutely fine. Let's go take a look at our contest simulations now too, and just see what we should be doing. I actually got a question here from Discord. Wood Pony, Joe Ryan, good spot, just not. We'll look at him in a second. We're just going to take a look at our contest simulations first. So let me reset the data. I'm going to run on small field very for those high dollar people in here, like Ari, aka Pablo, aka How Rich. Give it a second to run. While we go do that, actually, I'll go look at Joe Ryan. Actually, no, we populated. We're good. So, small field, first thing we're doing exposures, you see highest exposed pitchers in winning lineups in the Sims are Tyler McGill, followed by Hunter Brown, Eovaldi, Rodon, Joe Ryan, Max Meyer, and then Logan Evans. Lowest exposed in there is Cannon, Burrows, Fitz, Parker, Anderson, Seaval. So right away they're saying in small field that I know double pitcher hasn't really won as much, but you probably should be taking Tyler McGill or Max Meyer, definitely preferably Tyler McGill, and one of Hunter Brown, Eovaldi, Rodon. We go look at team exposures. Houston, no surprise, they're dirt cheap against JP Sears and that terrible bullpen. They're also in Houston, and Houston plays up right-handed power a ton. And this guy has been really good, but like Isaac Paredes at 4,300 for he's arguably been the best bat in that lineup. It's hard for me to believe that there's not a really good chance that guy hits a home run today. You then have Arizona, which is a team that I also really, really liked, followed by Washington, Minnesota, Seattle. So if you're building for small field high dollar tournaments today, I really think that you probably start with Tyler McGill and then pick one of the pay up guys and then play Houston, whether as a mini or a main, Arizona. And then if you want to take a look at Washington, you can, but probably Minnesota, Boston. That's probably what I do. I mean, it's tough. This is not a good offensive slate today. All right, let's go take a look at Joe Ryan really quick, and then I want to open it up for any more questions. So first, let's go look at the true average slate. True average here for the slate. We have Joe Ryan here. True average of 0.27. The lefty's been shut down the righties. I mean, we kind of know that's been his pedigree, most of this year. You have here the hit ratios. This is pretty elite, right? Like negative numbers here. That's elite. Righties, he's got to be far and away the best. Yeah, he's the best pitcher on the slate against right-handed pitching. So you got to love that. So guys like Caminero, Caballero, if they're in the lineup, I mean, I don't even know how many righties they're throwing at him. Caminero and Caballero and Yandy Diaz. So he's only going to see 3 righties. So take that for what it is. When I go to current slate overview and Joe Ryan here, K rate of 33%, best on the slate. True average, 0.25, slugging, 0.43, expected home runs. This is where he can maybe get got today. 6, an expected home run of 6. He's going to face 6 lefties today. Let's take a look at that really quick. So I guess lefties, K rate of 24%. That's still fine. He's not walking them at all. That's good too. Expected slugging, not great, but like not the worst I've ever seen either. Expected batting average, very low, and he should be giving up home runs. So I think the best thing we could do now is go take a look at expected slugging numbers of Tampa Bay. So let's go do that really quick. So we go to here, hitters. We're going to pull up Tampa Bay. And we're going to see how they are in this split. So we sort by expected slugging. You have Josh Lowe, Jonathan Aranda, Junior Caminero, Brandon Lau. So, Josh Lowe, pretty good here. Expected slugging. Jonathan Aranda, very good too. Caminero, good, but he's a righty. So you can think of that however you want to think about it. As a from a K perspective, they got 6 guys in their lineup that are striking out at a 20% clip or more. So that's something to really consider when I go look at them as a team too. And again, this is doubled up because we do have Draftkings and FanDuel salaries in here. So Tampa Bay, 22% K rate, expected slugging of 0.43, expected bat average of 0.27, expected home run per plate appearance of 0.04. In the terms of the slate, they're like in a log jam with probably like your tertiary teams in regards to power. But I do like Joe Ryan. Let's go take a look at quickly right-handed pitching, how Tampa Bay has fared. Tampa Bay, dead middle of the pack, 104 WRC plus against right-handed pitching over the last 2 weeks. K rate of 20%. Okay, slugging over 4. It's all right. ISO 0.166, middling, but okay. I don't know. I mean, I like Joe Ryan. His K rate is pretty high. I think this is a matchup where he could definitely walk into K's, but I also think he can get tagged for a few. Like I envision a start where he maybe goes, 7, 8 Ks, maybe, 3, 4 earned runs, and 3 of them are solo shots. So just something to think about. But so to recap, where I'm going to be prioritizing today for small field, and I'm playing 5 lineups, one in the 25 and 5 in the $5 because I just, I'm a loser and registered way too late. I am going to be working off a core of Tyler McGill, and either picking one of Hunter Brown, Nathan Eovaldi, Rodon, or Joe Ryan. If I am going to punt anybody, I guess I'll punt to Horton, but our contest sims do not like him whatsoever. We have him as the most negatively leveraged pitcher by a country mile here. It doesn't mean you can't play him. It just means if you play him and another chalky pitcher, you really have to play a super unknown stack. And for the bats, I'm going to be focusing my efforts on Arizona. I do like Arizona. I do like Houston. Obviously, everybody likes Houston today. Minnesota, I kind of like both sides of that with Taj, but I'm really loving it. Boston, I'm very interested in, and Yankees, I'm very interested in. So that's where I'm going to be going tonight. What questions can I answer for everybody? Got that Poland Spring. Got that good for today. All right. So one thing that I'm going to do just before we sign off, and if anybody has any questions that they can, let's talk about it. I want to go take a look and show off our hand builder. This is a new tool that we recently put in, James put in over the last week or so, and it's a really cool tool. So I just want to showcase it a little bit and show you how you can use it. You could plug in your player filters, so that way you can search by position here. You can set a salary max. If you want to just look at a certain team, you can. Quick fill options too. You can autofill somebody from, Arizona, 5-man, right? And let's say you want to make it a wraparound, you want to make it a mid, top, whatever you want to do with that stack, 1 through 5, 4 through 8. So I think that's pretty cool. So if I'm building today for small field, I did say I wanted to build around Tyler McGill. And let's just say I say, you know what, I'm really set on Houston today. Like let me go start a Houston stack. So right away, if I go sort by median here, you want to start by 2x percentage, you can too, but usually that takes price into account a little bit more. You could do Jeremy Pena, Isaac Paredes, Jose Altuve. Let's say you want to go Jake Myers for a little differentiation. Let's say you go, Yainer Diaz. Right then and there, decent start, Tyler McGill. You do have a low on Jake Myers, but you do have some chalk here. So we have to figure out how we're going to get a little different now at some of our other spots. But for me personally, I really, really like the pitching today. I do think paying up, and, Nathan Eovaldi could be a pretty sharp pivot. You want to play Rodon, you can. You want to play, we already got McGill. You want to play Joe Ryan. For this purpose, let's play Eovaldi. Let's make him the pivot. So now we have first base and 2 outfield spots to go. So another team that I really, really liked today was Arizona. So maybe I'll populate them. We're not going to probably be able to get them in, but we'll get the Cubs in here, Boston, and yeah, let's start there and just see what we can come up with. So let's say, here too. So here already, I probably don't want to play Boston because I can't get Devers. But if I want to play Abraham Toro, 2,700. Did he not populate? No, hold on. Okay, you got Abraham Toro there. You have 4,500 left per player. Let's say I want to go Wilyer Abreu, 4,600 left. I can go get a one-off from somewhere else, or I could rework this and try to get Duran in. Maybe I want to go, Toro, Abreu. We'll get Abreu out. Let's see. Let's go Jarren Duran here. I got 4,200. Yeah. Maybe I want to go find a one-off. Maybe I want to go shuffle Houston around, right? So this is just a really cool tool that you can go take a look at and see. And as you can see here, you got some unknown pieces up and down this lineup, and you just got one more to fill somewhere. So let's say we want to go, let's sort by position. We'll go outfield. So only outfield eligible players, 4,200. You go here and you say, okay, wow, Chandler Simpson's got a decent projection. Maybe you want to play, Trevor Larnach, put that in against Taj Bradley. It's not bad. It's not bad. Do not play Houston in single entry. No, you could definitely play Houston in single entry. You just got to be mindful about how you play them. If you play them with, double pay up, or you play a 5-man with a chalky SP1, chalky SP2, you just got to get really, really different, or you can maybe stack them in an unorthodox way. So one thing that, Ari, aka Pablo, will let you know about, and he's called this out on me multiple times throughout the years, is that I am a big proponent of stacking chalk teams in a very unorthodox way, where it's not that I'm not prioritizing, correlation, but maybe I'm not necessarily, worried about, like, let me make this correlate the best I possibly can. So to give you an example of that, let me get rid of Jaron Duran here too. Say I got Houston here, right? And I have this lineup. Maybe I want to go something like, Yander Diaz. Maybe I want to go something like Jake Myers. Then maybe I want to go something like a Christian Walker. We'll play Paredes. And then maybe I want to get to Dubon, right? Like maybe I make it super low owned that way. And then that way I can have a pretty high-powered 3-man that's also a little bit more expensive, right? Like now I'm probably thinking if I want to get to the Cubs, like I can go play they don't actually, they have Dansby. Go get Dansby. Too expensive. So you can't even do that, but that's kind of my point. You can do that. You want to take Trevor Story in Boston. You want to, go get some of the Yankees. You can, like, let's say, I get the Yankees and okay, Anthony Volpe at 4,500. Say I want to, Dominguez 6, and then yeah. So like that's how you can mess around with it. Obviously, that lineup's not going to work, and now we have crashed. So James is in the middle of an update, but that's going to do it for me. That's really where I'm going to be focusing my efforts tonight. Any other questions I can answer for anybody? Going once, going twice, and sold. Okay. We got about a half hour left before the slate locks at 7:05. Come check us out over at Paydirt DFS. If you do not have a subscription already, come get a weekly pass, come get a monthly pass. Come check us out. We got a really, really great community, and you're gonna have a lot of fun. We got some real clowns in there, and it's a good time. But we've also printed over 500K in winnings this year just from this MLB season so far. So come check us out, see what we're all about. I'll see everybody in the Discord. Let's go collect some trophies.